Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I'm here with another video. And this video more of a response and trying to explain myself as I got very interesting comment today. The comment reads, "You made no sense at all, bro." That's one of my strike related video that is not going to work. You don't understand what is happening. If I don't, let's help each other to understand. I'll try to explain myself, and I would appreciate if you guys could explain your side. I stayed home because I care for more. Oh, sorry. Now, finalizing, the drivers that still drive will never live for anything. So let's actually talk about that. If you want drivers to get on board, you need to get 100% of the drivers. If you only went to YouTube and Facebook and Reddit and you think you got everybody, you probably got only 20% of the drivers out there. Second, what have you done good to yourself by staying at home? If you really wanted to go strike, go on Google, type in how do I strike? You get a banner, you get some markers, write something on it, and you stay on a corner of a street. You don't have to be in California to actually go and physically strike. But if you sit at home, you're not any better of the one that actually went out and drove. Because you both didn't show your face to nobody. Nobody knew that you're striking. The only people that knew that were striking is actually you that didn't turn on the phone. And the question is, how many times did you actually turn the phone on and look? Oh, is it uh, three times, four times? Is there any peak? Now, in 2008, I was a part of a group called, jeez, I forgot. I forgot. It's not anonymous. It's another name. This right here, Edward Alvazar or something like that. He actually the one that pushed a lot in California, which today we know as a Prop 20, which which out of it all came out to be a Prop 22. See, majority noise that were created in California and New York. I want to actually show you guys. Oh, you guys are not seeing it. Great. Give me a minute. I'm not. Looks like I'm not as ready as I thought I am. So here it is. Edward Elvazar, as far as I pronounce it, his name correctly. He's actually taking picture with one of the ladies there. I'm not sure was she either striking or she was part of making things happen. I had a lot of videos, a lot of content, but I lost a lot of it in 2010 when my Google account got hacked. And I had a lot of it also on YouTube, but I kind of wanted to leave the live in the past, so I deleted the content when I started doing crypto on this account. So I do not. And now I learned a lesson. You just make it private, you don't delete it. But I guess that's it. Now, the outcome that we got: CBS, Los Angeles; Fox 11, Los Angeles. They were the only two media outlets that actually picked up, and they picked up where? Los Angeles. So the question is Prop 22 not enough in Los Angeles? Because we in the rest of the state even have less than that. So let's continue. In 2018, there was strikes happening across the world as well as in United States. A lot of the strike were happening in Los Angeles like this time. People were going to government. They were actually trying to get government involved, and it came up the Prop 22. I believe the Prop 22 is beneficial, but at the same time, it blurs the line between employee and a contractor. See, we are contractors, not employees. If you still do not know who you are, then log in and start reading your terms and conditions with the company that you're contracted out with. Uber Taxi, Uber Eats, Lyft, Doordash, Grubhub, you don't name it. There's a lot of them out there. And every single one wants you to be a contractor. See, the only part that is not fun and not interesting is as a contract with the companies, they dictate the rules, not you. So you end up on the receiving side of whatever they decided you deserve. And that is an issue with all this. Guys, you have to understand I am on you guys' side. I also drive for a living right now. Hey, in the past, yes, I was a CEO, I was making big money, but now I am trying to do this. I do understand, and those of you might not don't realize it. Not a lot of YouTubers out there actually sit down and help you understand what is your true cost of your vehicle expense. They'll count my gas, they'll count a few other things, but they'll not go into detail. I actually, in a video two of my channel, episode two, I actually broke down a rental, a lease, and an owned vehicle. I understand that driver needs to make at least around $30,000 to $50,000 at least out after all his business expense. Unfortunately, drivers make around 10 to 30,000 before any expense, and when expense kick in, he's broke. I met a guy in Sarasota where he was very, very, I'll put it this way, one of the higher end of the middle class. In 2015, when Uber started expanding into Florida, he was approached and was promised a a what is it, six-figure income driving for Uber. He left his job. He started driving. Had a nice home, had a nice family. In 2018, he got in a car accident. He didn't realize that his insurance overlapped 3 days and he had no coverage. He also had a vehicle leased through the dealership. Uber had no interest in covering him whatsoever. So, no coverage, customer in a vehicle, got hurt quite a bit as well. He didn't have at that point he did not have much of a savings, so he couldn't go afford and get another vehicle to drive, much more a rent because the 2018 price, the payment from the Uber was so low. I'm not sure what the prices are right now, and I don't remember where the prices are, but they were not something that you could actually make a great living on. So he couldn't afford to go rent and drive. And second reason, he couldn't drive because of injuries. He couldn't go and attend to a physician because of no coverage. With financial stress, marriage failed. So did his mortgage. I met him by library in downtown. Actually, I was introduced to him by someone else. Couple years before, he was a middle class employee with a nice home in a suburb, nice family, good cars on the driveway or garage. Then, couple years later, a bomb on a street crippled. And you guys want to tell me I don't understand you guys? You guys want to tell me I do not want to with you guys and don't want to support you guys? But if we do it, it has to be done right. It has to be done across the whole country. And we have to be on the streets, not only people in California on the streets. The 225 with Doordash, it's a joke. While you guys are still out using those apps and using Doordash, I'm burning through ideas. What can be done to change? Because every contract has an option to be renegotiated. But one thing that I'll tell you, I've been thinking for a long time, since this, for about a week or so, been brewing about this strike thing, and I've been thinking, have I seen somebody strike as a contractor in the past? I don't remember when we had seen prices in California go to $4 or $5 a gallon. I want to say 14, maybe, but probably was sooner earlier than that. I remember truckers, they went to strike. They refused to take loads until the price for deliveries worthwhile for them to actually burn the diesel. And guess what? They got what they wanted, and everything in the store, literally almost overnight, went up in 20%. I think it was actually in 2010 or maybe like that. But since then, we were seeing prices creeping up, and when the price of gas and diesel dropped a little, guess what? The price of the stores did not. So, Pedro, I do apologize in front of you and everybody else on your channel that actually might have heard me saying I have not seen nobody strike on a contract. Truckers did strike, and I believe we might start seeing another truckers strike pretty soon again if the prices continue going up. Now, I used to be a builder at one point, and I've been thinking about that as well. I would present a job, contractors would actually bid on the job. I would take their bids, and instead of taking the cheapest, I would take the one that was the cheapest but actually provided the quality that I wanted. So he never turned out to be that cheapest, but he was one of the cheaper ones. See, guys, the What we have is a little bit different of what majority what's out there. See, in construction, you have a job, people bid, you look at the bid, and you select who it is, whoever you choose to, and they do the job. During that job, very rarely a negotiation happens unless there is some changes. Let's say an example, a customer comes in before the foundation is poured, but after the bid has been accepted, and customer makes an alteration to the home, and now we need to add, let's say, a second porch in the back, or add on another room. No, but I already accepted a contractor for pouring the foundation and also doing a land prep before a foundation poured. So now I have to sit down with that contractor and say, hey, these are the adjustments. Do you want to provide me an updated bid and I'll sign it as long as it's reasonable? Or option two, we can turn around, delay everything, and get new bids. And that's why you kind of get a reasonable offer back from the same contractor. You sign that offer, and project does not have much of a delay. Unfortunately, when it comes down to Doordash and others, we do not have an option to negotiate. We do not have an option to put in our offer. They're the ones that put in the offer, and it's kind of like in reverse. And I agree, the prices should be better. I agree that tip should never be a compensation. It should be a appreciation. I believe in those things. I also believe that a payment for your service should be fair, or in another hand, should not be there at all. See, some people say, oh, you need to look at the history where the tip came from. I understand where it came from. When slaves were no longer to be a slave for whatever reason, either he was let go, he ran away, or after the war, slaves became free. Businesses would accept them and say, hey, you want to make some money? You're like self-employed. If somebody gives you something, great. If not, then not. We're not taking any responsibility for you. But listen to something. We're not taking any responsibility for you. We're not going to pay you anything. But these companies are paying us something. And customers look at us and they're confused. They have no clue how much you're getting paid. Only few that do. And when they meet with their family and friends, guess what? They're confused again. Because their family and friends say, hey, these guys are very well paid. And he's like, no, the driver just told us we're getting paid only they're getting paid only 225. Oh, don't listen to him. They're getting paid an hourly wage. See, the public is confused. They do not know who to believe. When you have a $20 order and there's a 18% fee on top of that $20 order, where does that 18% go? If I would be the customer and never actually be involved in a gig world, I would say it's going 100% to the driver. So he's getting my 18%, and on top of that, he wants a tip? Sure. You know, I give him $5 tip everywhere. I'll give him a $5 tip as well. See, the problem is customers have no clue. But at the same time, you and I, as drivers, we fight. We know how much we're getting paid. There's no point educating us. There's no point fighting between us. Present us a good deal and we will be happy. That's simple as that. But then there's another question. If there's so much drivers on a platform that you cannot even get on a schedule, let's say on a Doordash, I guess they're doing something right. I'm talking about Doordash. At least they figured out at which price the drivers are still willing to get on the platform. Because otherwise, you and I would not be getting on the platform. But if you and I are getting on the platform at 225, that means they got the right price. That means you and I are still attractive to it. And then why are you complaining? Are you complaining because you're not willing to give up? There's a surprise for you. There's so many apps today, not like it was in 2018, 2016, or 2014. There's so many apps. You don't like one? Find another one that pays you better. Do you know the way I'm planning to strike with DoorDash? First, I no longer drive for them. I drive for someone else that pays me better. That pays me around at least $6 per delivery instead of 225 plus tip. That's one. Second approach is trying to convince you guys there's other apps out there that pay better, so you guys turn your phone off as well. Because if I can get you to stop turning that phone off, get other drivers to stop turning that phone on, and dash with DoorDash, dash with Uber, dash with Lyft, or drive with Lyft and Uber, now they're going to realize that drivers no longer willing to drive for that cheap. Look at Rody. It's a last mile delivery. Look at some of the offers. Those offers are so cheap, but they are still taken. See? It's not a problem with DoorDash and Uber and other apps. It's a problem with you and I. It's a problem with you and I. We turn those apps on and we take those orders. That's where the problem begins. Stop taking those orders. Convince others to stop taking those orders. And you will have success in Strike. I already talked about moving clients over and back. If you guys want me to talk about in detail, I'll talk about it in detail as well. But if you're coming to me and tell me I don't understand, I even built you guys an app in 2018. And instead of you guys joining the app, do you guys know what you guys responded to me with? Get us insurance. That was your guys' respond. So I don't understand you guys. I lost over $25,000 on that project. For it to be put on the shelf. And now it's worth nothing. Because everything has to be updated. I understand. I understand both sides. I understand you guys as drivers, and I also understand myself who threw money at you guys. And you guys became unappreciative. That's why I haven't launched a delivery app yet. Because I still remember how you guys said, I want insurance. When I went to get an insurance, they wanted 46% of the fair price. And then what would be the difference between me and Uber or Lyft? You know, taxi drivers in Dallas were the only ones that were actually interested in the app. But then the curb came and it was offered, with all the other features that the taxis were using because that was the same company that was providing uh, meters and etc. for taxi drivers. They also came out with the app, so they dropped my app. So I had to shut it down. But the interesting part, not one Uber or Lyft driver joined the app. And all I wanted is for you guys to go and get a commercial insurance. I even found a company and arranged for you guys to have the cheapest possible insurance across the whole country. Because you guys are going to be coming in on bulk. And the only fee on the app was 10% up to $100 a month. Up to $100. You keep everything. I don't understand. Hey guys, the ball is in your hands. If you guys would have ran with the app that I built, you guys would have been in control of the price. You guys would have been in control on a lot of things. You guys would be receiving 100% of the commission, 100% of the delivery fees. You guys would only be paying $100, up to $100 in app fee as partners in the app. And of course, at that point, I believe it was 2.4% card transaction fee. That was as business owners, that would all would have costed you. But today, I don't know what the fees are with Uber and Lyft, but I'm pretty sure they're still taking 50% of the fare, as it used to be in the past. So the only question is, are you going to hide at home and pretend you're striking? Or are you going to take future into your hands? Because if you're going to hide at home and pretend you're striking, doesn't doesn't really do anything. If you want to strike, then let's get serious about it and work out a way that actually will work. But if you want to get serious with your life and with your income, then let's get serious. Let's find those apps that work. Let's some businesses that will work. And I'll be talking on this channel about some possible businesses and already have spoken on some. So I want to say, be blessed, be wise, and be smart. And don't pretend to be a crybaby. There's people out there that trying to think on your behalf at all times. You have questions? Comment them. I'll respond. Be blessed.